Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. As you know, summer is the ideal time to prepare or update your portfolios. In this tutorial, we will show you how to incorporate your drawings into portfolio covers. Starting a portfolio can be a stressful task. To overcome the blank page anxiety, we highly recommend getting inspiration from your favorite book cover designs, checking out brochure layouts, and browsing through editorial book and magazine designs. This research will give you ideas on color combinations, text usage, and various image layouts. We created this video to provide you with different portfolio cover ideas that you can easily apply with your own projects, regardless of where you are in your architecture career. So, let's get started with an A for artboard. We'll go to View, Rulers, Show Rulers. These will be useful for aligning. To add margins, draw a rectangle the same size as the artboard. Then, click on Offset Path. We'll make it 1 centimeter with a negative value to offset inward. Delete the outer one and change the fill color into strokes. You can lower the stroke weight. Then, go to View, Guides, Make Guides. Your margin is ready. You can lock them from the same menu. Now, we can begin with the first cover design. Let's open the drawing we've selected in Photoshop to add an effect. Go to Filter menu, select Pixelate, and then choose Color Halftone. Leave the options as they are and click OK. This will give the drawing a retro blurred effect. Once done, we'll export it as JPEG and return to Illustrator. We'll use the image as a full-page background. We'll lower its opacity to make it even more obscure. And crop the excess part. Now we can add the titles. We'll use a sans serif font. If you would like us to make a video on must-use fonts for architects, please let us know in the comments section. With the eyedropper tool, we have selected a primary color from the halftone effect. To create, paste, or place content behind other content on a layer, you can use the Draw Behind mode at the bottom of the toolbar. With this selected, the copied text will be placed underneath the primary one. To continue the blurred effect, we'll lower the copied title's opacity. We'll add other texts with smaller font size. You can include selected works, the timeline these works produced, and don't forget to add your name. You can use rulers to align texts. If you are preparing other versions, such as an academic portfolio, you can include a version number as well. And that's all for the first cover. We believe you can easily apply this to your projects and turn them into covers. As we've mentioned, by using this cover as a template, you can create other versions as well. For example, here we've tried the halftone effect on a plan drawing. Updated the color scheme in Illustrator, and we'll have an alternative version. It's that easy. Using your existing projects as cover is definitely much quicker than designing a page from scratch. However, if you're in a rush, we highly recommend checking out the arcade store. There, you can search for portfolio templates that include pre-made front and back covers, content pages, and design blank pages. The link is in the description box below. Our next tip is to translate the style used in your projects onto the cover. For example, if collages are a strength in your portfolio, consider incorporating them into the cover design. We'll use nature vector patterns that we previously used for collages as background. After placing the patterns, we'll add a grid on top, using the rectangular grid tool. Double-click on the icon to set the number of dividers. We'll go with 3 by 3. You can change its line weight from the stroke panel. We'll add little circles to the intersection points. We'll lower the opacity, and then add several elements from different projects onto the grid we've made. Lastly, we'll add the titles. We'll use the circle as the full stop. To rotate the texts, go to Object menu and expand them first. Then you can rotate them freely. And that's all for the second cover. Hope you liked it. We can move on to the third one. For the third cover, we'll again use the rectangular grid, but in a different way. This cover would work great with crowded drawings, especially street views. Place the rectangular grid on top of the drawing and increase its stroke weight to at least 20 points. You can go even higher. We'll make it 35. Then, we'll expand the grid. We'll use the Unite command to make it all joined. This way it became one piece. We'll quickly add the titles. One last thing we'll add is outlines to make the drawing parts look framed. Double-click on the grid, then select Offset Path. We are not entering a negative value this time because we want to offset outside. It appears as though all of them are framed. And that finalizes the third portfolio cover idea. You can easily apply this to your drawings. Now we can move on to fourth cover. For this one, we'll only use a part of our drawing. We'll draw a circle on top and make a clipping mask. Then copy a couple of drawing elements and paste them on top of the clipping mask. We'll crop the excess parts. Then scale and place this scene at bottom of the cover. We'll add the titles and that's all. You don't have to indicate that it's a portfolio by adding it as a title. Selected works would be enough. This cover is very simple, but it has character. Let's move on to the fifth one. For this one, we'll use a black and white filtered drawing. You can always experiment with the text. We'll choose a bold version and place the title at the very bottom. We'll expand it to modify it. Copy and paste it into place. We'll draw a rectangle on top, then select the copied text and rectangle and make a clipping mask. This way we clip the top part of the text. We'll repeat the same steps for the bottom part. Next, we'll place the bottom part at the top of the page. This way, we have created continuity. We'll use different punctuation marks on the cover. It'll give a collage effect, but with text. And that's all for this one. This cover would look great on academic applications. If you have a favorite drawing or render that you want to showcase, consider using the next cover idea. Duplicate the image, then reflect it horizontally. Embed the image and go to Object menu. Choose Rasterize. This would allow us to edit the image. Go to Object menu again, select Envelope Distort, and choose Make with Mesh. Now we can distort the image with the Free Transform tool to make it appear as a reflection. We'll use Free Distort to pull out the edges. After that, we'll lower its opacity and go to the Effect menu. We'll add a Gaussian blur onto it. To make it more seamless, we'll add a gradient layer on top. Draw a white rectangle, then click on the Gradient menu. Choose Linear Gradient. We'll choose white for both sliders and rotate it 90 degrees. We'll make the top slider's opacity 0% to make it faded on the bottom. It really looks like a reflection of the image this way. We'll add a character from our observation-themed vector pack. Its link is in the description box below. We'll use Unite command to turn it into a silhouette. We are adding reflection to the character as well. We'll repeat the same steps, distort the reflection, then add gradient onto it. Lastly, we'll add a Gaussian blur. Reflections are done. Now we'll add the titles. We'll add a frame and that's all. Give this cover a try if you have a favorite render. Another quick way to make portfolio covers is to use presentation mockups. You can search for it from the arcade store. We've added its link in the description box below. We'll use the exhibition-themed one for this cover. You can easily place your drawing into it and update the titles. We'll also add the titles of the projects that are included in this portfolio. We'll adjust the distance between texts from the Type Options window. It's already done. Using presentation mockups would definitely speed up your design process. For the next cover idea, we'll again use a part of a drawing. We'll trace over the building and make a clipping mask. We'll export it as PNG and open it in Photoshop to add in black and white filter. Then we can export it again and open it back on the Illustrator. We'll add the shadow from the drawing and also the vegetation. We'll place the drawing at the bottom and reflect it vertically. You can adjust the shadow to emphasize it. Writing vertically is a very controversial subject in architecture. It's often criticized. But since this is a cover design, if it looks good on the cover, you can just go for it. We'll add a black background to make the title pop. We'll repeat the background shape twice to tie it all together. And it's done. This became one of our favorites. What do you think? We'll have 3 more cover designs for you. This one would look great with a detailed drawing. You can use a close-up. We've made a clipping mask, then added the project names onto the cover. We'll use rulers to align the titles. We're making sure that the titles are evenly spaced. We'll add a soft gray background and it's finished. You really don't need much to make a minimalist cover. The next one would look great with urban projects. You can use landscape scenes, site plans, and master plans. We'll scatter white circles on top of the drawing. Then, we'll make an element of the drawing part of the title. We have a circular building, and we'll use it in place of the letter O. This can be easily applied to the letters I and L as well, since the rectangular typology is widely used in architectural projects. We find this one very endearing. Soft coloring made this cover pleasant to look at. Our last cover design idea is especially for the first-year students. You don't need detailed drawings or renders to make this one. All you need is an empty plan drawing which we will use for its outlines. We'll add additional columns to make it appear more like a pattern. We'll use a vibrant red. While placing the titles, we will use the empty spaces cleverly. For this cover design, everything comes down to the placement and the ratio of filled and empty spaces on the page. And this brings us to end of this tutorial. We hope you find these cover ideas useful. Which one became your favorite? Share with its number with us in the comment section down below.